Last three examples are in the broader sort of societal space, and I'll take them one at a time. First has to do with education and health, education and skills. If you look at this is unlike knowledge and collaboration, which is broadly speaking amongst peers of a certain equal intellectual level. Education and skill building assumes a certain asymmetry of knowledge. Somebody has more knowledge and is trying to impart that knowledge to somebody who doesn't have as much knowledge. Skill building is similar, but except that unlike education, which is more broad-based, skill building is focused on a narrow area which is related to a particular activity or and so on. Now, in many developing countries, and probably even in the developed world, there is an enormous mismatch between what is required in the economies and in the companies and in governments and in education institutions and so on, and what the general population is capable of. This is called a competency gap. In India, the competency gap will peak about 10 years from now with about 550 million people who will not have the skills required by the economy at that time. But Indians will not have the skills to actually run that third largest economy. I'll give you one small example. If all the plans of industry and government come to fruition, India will be installing a huge amount of alternative energy sources between now and 2025, whether it is solar, whether it is wind, whether it's nuclear, you name it. We'll be installing tons and tons of these equipment, megawatts upon megawatts of capacity will be installed. The biggest worry is not that we will not get that technology and invest in it. The biggest worry is that there won't be enough people to actually run, manage and operate those complicated pieces of equipment. So education and skills by itself is an opportunity in India, it's an opportunity in China, it's an opportunity in Africa, it's an opportunity even in the United States and in Western Europe and so on, where reskilling is required and re-educating is required. So that's area number 8, education and skills. Area number 9 is to do with health. Like Benjamin Franklin said, death and taxes are the only two inevitable things, right? Everybody falls sick. In the worst of recessions, people will still fall sick. So you do need tremendous investments and advancements in all layers of healthcare. Preventive health, primary health, secondary health, tertiary health, the entire spectrum of healthcare, the entire spectrum of supporting industries, whether it's medical equipment, whether it is pharmaceutical, whether it is hospitals and so on, and then lastly the funding part of it. How do you actually fund healthcare? That needs innovation as well. So health as an area is a huge opportunity worldwide. If you can find innovative things to do there, you'll never really run out of a market. It's always there as long as people fall sick, they will be there. Lastly, number 10 is to do with the environment. It's to do with green, it has to do with sustainability, it has to do with energy, it has to do with carbon, it has to do with so many different aspects of what people call green. And increasingly, people are realizing that green is not just a nice thing to do, but probably a very necessary thing to do. Companies are investing money in green, governments are encouraging those investments. Public at large is getting much more aware about the consequences of not investing and what are the upsides and downsides of non-sustainable development and so on. So I think this area will see tremendous opportunities again in how new ideas will come forth, new companies will come forth and take advantage of this. So those are my top 10 suggestions for what you might like to think about. Some of you probably are already in one or two of these areas, or you've got some insights into them and experience into them. But ranging from very straightforward things like faster, better, cheaper, the efficiency story, the simplification story, I think those are very, relatively speaking, easy to do. They're very competitive as well. The risk story, security story, privacy story, compliance, governance, that I think is an opportunity. Knowledge, collaboration, communication is a good one as well, if something can be done there. Analytics and understanding customers and markets, delivering the experience, a top-class experience to a customer in any area is innovative. Working on mobility and then maybe ubiquity is an opportunity set. And then we looked at what I would call the higher order triad, the education and skills area, the health area, and then the environment and sustainability area. Now, by no means is this an exhaustive list, but this is just my top 10. You could build a top 100, you could build a top 50, but as people who have got the motivation and who have got the energy and the talent to think about problems and look at it in the context of not just a theoretical construct, but as something that you are willing to bet your life on. You are spending your time, your energy in coming up with these ventures, with these ideas, and working on funding and getting a company going. I think there is no better way of building your own lives and then enriching the world at large. So wish you all the best. I'll be happy to take some questions. Otherwise, I can ask questions on which of these 10 or otherwise are you working on or you're thinking about. We could actually do that as a show of hands. So even if you go category by category, anybody who thinks your idea is in a better, faster, cheaper, something which already exists but you've thought of a more efficient way of doing something in that space. So I don't know. I know it is highly competitive here in some sense, but good. So you have one. Anybody in the cut through, simplify space? Okay. All about fear, uncertainty, doubt, make people safer, safety, security. So one. Okay. Knowledge, collaboration, social. Web 2.0. So there's one. You put up both your hands. So there are two ideas or just one? Just one. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. What about the whole analytics space? Understanding markets, understanding customers. Okay. Customer experience, the whole experience story. Wow. Whatever that wow is, like faster, better, cheaper is on an existing thing, the wow is also on an existing thing. Maybe you just are going to set up a new restaurant, but it's going to blow people's minds in terms of wow, what a restaurant. Any of your business plans are in the wow category? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Those are the creative people. Mobility, mobiles, apps. Okay. Education, skills, training. Okay. You already raised your hand for knowledge. Okay. Health, wellness. You're kind of doubtfully raising your hand. Okay. And green. Environment, sustainability, 1. Okay. So the top scorer was social, I think, 3. Okay. Is there anybody who is totally off the wall? Not in my top 10? We'll have to find some way to hear you what you're saying. So, vegetable market is a business, but what is the promise of the vegetable market? Is it a better experience? Is it faster, better, cheaper? Is it a simplified way of buying vegetables?
Yeah, it is more of door-to-door delivery system on a bulk basis, and it will reduce your time, your laziness. You have to go and pick an order. You need not spend time on anything.
So the core problem that you're solving for the customer is simplifying the process of buying vegetables.
Yeah.
In some sense. And then there is lots of logistics and other things that you do. So learn to think of it that way, that what problem of my customer or my prospective customer am I solving? Right? So I'm going to make your life faster, better, cheaper, or I'm going to simplify your problem. I'm going to make you more secure. If you think of it that way, not that, it will help you communicate it better. And maybe your branding will come out of there. Good luck. Alright, thank you, and wish you all the best in the immediate future, which is, I guess, the next steps from a TATA Dot perspective, and then in your lives as entrepreneurs. All the best.